Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up Missoula. My name is Noelle McAvoy.
And I'm Scott Ram.
That was Asaph Adonai on piano. Asaph, what song is that?
That's a short version of the Mendelssohn Concerto in E minor.
Ooh, that's pretty.
It kind of sounded like the song for your, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah. Well, it's Friday, you guys, and we hope that you've all had a great week. The weekend is upon us, and I know I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to, sleep. Yeah, but our Saturday kids camps start this weekend, start on Saturday. So if you have a little one between the ages of 9 and 14, you can bring them by, and we make stop motion animation movies as well as a mix of live action for 1 to 5, and it's only $10 right here at MCAT.
Yep. And $5 for a half day, and we're easing into it, so we're not really advertising too much about it like on the radio, but we will be just like hitting it hard as soon as late September, early October starts coming around the corner. But of course, this is the first weekend. Also tonight, Sentinel is playing against Big Sky High School, so we're going to have a sports. We have the sports commentators on here this morning, and they're going to talk a little bit more about their process and their all that stuff. And
well,
of course,
sports commentating is not easy, so I definitely want to know what it takes to be a sports commentator, because you got to be quick on the ball, fast. You can't
and we have another group of people here as well, and I believe that we do have a musical guest.
Cool.
So
we'll figure it out.
I'm excited for that, and of course you should be excited for the weather, because the weather is looking really nice, but also really chill. So it's perfect day for you guys to wear sweaters. Nice, perfect sweater weather. Today is going to be a high of 69 degrees outside. Your low is going to be 39. Of course, by Saturday your high is going to be 79. So this weekend's going to look great. So if you plan anything special, today is the day. And tomorrow, and then maybe Sunday, we might have that rain and showers going on, but that most likely might happen on Saturday night. It's weird because Missoula's always just oh, you gotta watch out for this weather pattern that's coming in, and then boom, and everything just gets streamlined here. Everything's streamlined, and then it's here, and then it leaves.
It's usually over there,
and then it's sometimes over there, and then stays at the Holiday Inn, and then just drinks too much of the Brooks and Browns, and then whatever.
Yeah. It just gets crazy.
Oh, it doesn't really go to after party. It just kind of sits there at the after party and just
It doesn't go to the after party?
I'm sorry to rain on your parade. All right, that's stupid. Okay. So you can find out more information about that by going to nationalweatherservice.gov. But of course, if you want to find out more information about Wake Up Missoula, you can log on to wakeupmissoula.wix.com/wakeupmissoula. Some nights we made you write it out twice, and I'm too cheap to buy wakeupmissoula.org or .com. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at Wake Up Missoula.
Missoula Community Access Television also has a Twitter. You can follow us at MCAT TV Missoula. You can like us on Facebook, and to find out more information, just check us out at MCAT.org.
Yes, but I made a highlight of some of the Sentinel games, so the last 2 games specifically.
Oh yes, the last 2 weeks.
I just made a nice little, just kind of like a package. It's just like music in the background, all the best plays that the Sentinel High School Football team has performed.
Nice, way to go.
I'm trying to find the right words. I'm just I'm building to it. But of course, when we come back, we'll have our commentators.
Yeah, and they'll tell us all about this.
Hey, we're here with Kempson and Cole, and they're here to talk about today's crosstown rivalry game between Sentinel and Big Sky. So you guys commentate for these games, and it's nice to see a face to a voice.
Right, exactly. We're excited for tonight's game. You know, Sentinel is playing real well right now. They're running the football. They had an impressive win last weekend, 35-10 over Butte High, and they look to just keep the momentum going. And so we're excited to even be able to have the opportunity to commentate. As always, it's been fun to do. I've done it the last couple of years and brought Kempson on last year, so it's been exciting.
Cool. And last year was the first year you did it with Sydney Schultz and the Sentinel Spartans, Spartan Live. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Spartan Live. Yeah.
Nice. And so what goes into sports commentating? Because I've always considered it, but it seems like you have to be like really quick and pay attention a lot and know what you're talking about, I guess.
There's quite a bit of behind the scenes preparation. I spend a few hours getting ready for each week's game, just trying to talk to coaches, get statistics, figure out who the key players are going to be, who you want to track, like the storylines going in and such. Like, for example, for tonight's game, it's even bigger because Hellgate's not playing varsity football this season.
Oh.
They don't have enough players. So Big Sky and Sentinel is the Missoula City Championship game. So that's going to adds a whole different layer of intrigue to the game for sure.
Yeah, because they don't have that third option. It's just the two of them. Oh, that's kind of disappointing on Hellgate's part. But, oh well.
Yeah, and Big Sky, it's at the Missoula County Stadium.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Where is that?
That's at Big Sky High School. So Big Sky High School has a stadium for basically all the teams that have their home games. So if it's the Sentinel home game, it's going to be at Big Sky.
Right.
That's usually how it's always been, and I think it's really cool that they all just can consolidate and work together, because all the MCPS schools are kind of like just one big happy family. But it's always nice. With any family, there's always fighting, and this is like one of them.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
So if in detail, could you guys go into a little more about how you guys prepare for remembering names and that kind of stuff? Can be kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice last game because we had literally the roster up on top of the window, taped to the window, so that was nice. I'm like, wow, why didn't we think of this before? So I can read the names as if a running back, gets the handoff, I can read his name off. A lot of it too, for me personally, is just watching a lot of sporting events. So the more I watch, I listen to different commentators, how they call different games, the enthusiasm, the excitement. I try to mock that. I try to get into the game. I'm excited when there's a big play. I just pay attention to those small details, watch what yard line they're on. So if it's a big play down to the 40-yard line, they're on the 28-yard line. What would that be? 22, 30, 32-yard gain or whatever, using that as an example. So a lot of it for me is just watching different games and just paying attention to what the announcers are saying. But also too, you do have to prepare yourself in knowing who the players are, and throughout the game just paying attention, okay, what number are they, who caught that pass, who scored that touchdown. So
and Kempson, what is some of your background? Because you know that Cole invited you on to do it last year, and what was going through your head when you first started doing this?
It was a real blessing. I've been able to do a couple of gigs with Cole, and we've done some Montana Grizz softball as well in the last couple springs. Which was a lot of fun. And I got into this originally just back in high school doing some public address work, but I would do it like I had heard on TV, and I got a lot of positive feedback on it. One thing led to another. My high school senior project, I job shadowed a sports broadcaster. I was like, I could get into this. Player ID, like he was talking about, is one of the most important things, because if people trust you to know, who's got the ball, who's making the play, and also pronunciation is huge as well. That's kind of a fundamental basic to have down for sure. So just between some classes and some extra, extracurriculars you could call it, I've been able to kind of hone my craft, and Cole's been beside me for most of it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Nice. And what else have you done besides the Sentinel Sportscasting? Because I know you were doing softball for a while too, right?
Yeah. We both have done Montana Grizz softball the last 2 years, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And really, it's really important with anything really, but especially I guess with me personally. Just repetition is huge, especially live reps. You can practice all you want with the TV on mute like I used to, but to actually have the spotlight on you, those reps are invaluable, which I think you would concur on that.
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of repetition for sure. I mean, you have to be watching the game, and you have to just get the practice in. Like the very first game I did for Missoula Sentinel, I was really nervous just because it's okay, never done this before, here I go, and I'm just kind of off and running. But it's cool, the more you do it, really, I mean, over time, you can definitely see yourself getting better at just, paying attention to different types of stuff.
Yeah, because always what I notice is that with a lot of commentary, especially during like games and stuff like that, there's always like you always try to figure out ways to talk about things.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out things to talk about, and you're talking for like 2.5 hours. During the game, but of course you guys usually sometimes just like you feel like you don't need to talk sometimes, which I think is great because it's always like people don't realize that it's all right to not talk, Scott.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
You heard it here, everyone.
Yeah.
And so what do you guys use kind of like as fillers between interesting plays if they're just kind of like standing around? You just like talk about stats or?
It could essentially be whatever.
It
could be a conversation just about life, I guess. I don't know, and that's part of it. And then I think just talking about just different stats or even just different plays that, like, if I didn't see something and he did, he would talk about that. Hey, that was a nice block by whoever. So I mean, because the color commentator, whoever that is during the game, can fill those gaps like after the play's over. And I think we do a really nice job because we don't have a monitor, so we can't see the replay. So it's really cool to be able to be like, okay, let's pay attention to, like, if there's something that Cole didn't see or something that Kempson didn't see, make sure to fill that void and talk about that play or whatever. And it usually goes pretty smoothly for the most part.
Yeah, and hopefully the game is moving right along and is close and interesting, and you can just talk about, okay, how did we get to this point? Especially third, fourth quarter, you're like, in the start of the third quarter, you're like, okay, well, how'd the first half go? Well, what were the key plays? And so that's something that we've actually specifically been trying to get better at, just like writing them down so we don't have to go off the top of our head, because that's something that I can lie to myself about, is like, oh, I'll remember that. It's important enough. I don't have to write it down. But writing it down is huge, I've found, especially just with the way my memory works, just to be able to go through that action of doing that, at least for me, is really helpful. But yeah, hopefully you're able to do that, to bring people up to speed if they maybe just tuned in or whatever, and just trying to make sure that you keep everybody who's already been watching also just make sure that they know that you're, again, on top of it, because a huge thing is just having the audience trust you and that you know what you're talking about. And also, I mean, you're trying to tell the story live, and the story is ultimately about these kids who are playing on Friday nights, or with softball it was Saturday afternoons, and I say kids, they're probably my age in college, but
crazy kids.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest for someone that wants to get into sports broadcasting? How would you suggest they go about that?
I think just calling and asking. I mean, that's what I did with the high school. I'm like, hey, do you guys need anybody to do sports commentating? And Dane's like, yeah, we're actually starting up this program called Spartan Live. And so that's how I jumped in. And so I think you have to do it locally first, because sometimes I feel like I could be very prideful, and then I can try and bite off more than I can chew and feel like, oh, okay, like I've got to go after doing college football play-by-play, or trying to get to a professional sport. But the fact of the matter is that you need to build a demo tape. So you're going to have to start locally. You're going to have to start small. Local high schools are a great place to start. And yeah, the first thing to do is just calling and asking. And that way, over time, you can build a resume, save the footage that you have, log your highlights. That's what I did actually last week from a game that we did. Scoring plays. I found out where the scoring plays were at that I did the play-by-play for, and I just put it on my Facebook page. And so you can go right to the time of the game of when the scoring play was, and then you can put it on your resume or direct anyone to it so they can watch it. So
Nice.
just calling around.
All right, so we're running out of time. So let's talk about tonight's game. Just kind of like when and where can people watch it, and where can people tune in?
Tonight, 7:30 p.m. is the kickoff. We'll have a little pregame, hopefully a little bit before that. But 7:30 p.m. is the kickoff, Missoula County Stadium. It's on, if you go to MCAT.org, I think they do have a high school sports link that's on the homepage. I also put it on my Facebook, but you may not be friends with me or whatever.
I'm friends with them. Don't worry.
That's totally fine. But yeah, if you go to MCAT.org, they have a high school sports link, and it's worked for everybody I've given it to, so hopefully it'll work for you. And yeah, it's like I said, huge game, Big Sky versus Sentinel. It's a lot of Zootown pride on the line tonight for sure.
Cool. Thank you very much, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
So we'll be right back after this.
Team versus team.
That's as good as it gets.
Oh man, I've never had more fun my whole life.
Daddy's out of beer. I'm gonna go to another one, dude.
This your card?
No, Lamorne, stop doing magic. You're not good at it.
Guys! Oh, dude! There's a bear in your other room here.
What? Oh, that's just the big, angry, hungry bear. Just pretend it's not there.
Oh, really? Yeah. It'll just go away? What are you talking about?
No, I don't think it's going anywhere, but I don't know what to do about it, so I just ignore it.
So it's not dangerous, right?
Define dangerous. It's a bear. But, you know, it's not gonna eat all of us. It only eats like 1 in 5s. I said only 1 in 5, so we're fine.
That's a lot, man. That means one of us is gonna be eaten.
Statistically. That doesn't mean one of us. It means 1 in 5 people get eaten.
Why aren't you doing something about this, man?
Hey, what do you want me to do about it? You guys know the old saying, bears will be bears.
That's not a saying.
Lamorne, a bear will be a bear, so...
You can't just blame the bear, not when it's attacking 20% of the people who come here.
20%? I said 1 in 5.
Yes, that's 20%.
And no, it isn't. It's 1 in 5, you math nerd. Let's pile on this guy.
Dude, you gotta get rid of this thing. Or at least warn us that there is a bear in the other room, man. We gotta look out for each other. What are you doing?
Hey, what happens between you guys and the bear is none of my business.
Wait, how is this none of your business, man? 1 in 5 people are gonna get attacked by this bear!
God, you're overreacting. The bear's not gonna eat all of us. It'll be less than a quarter of us.
None of us should die!
And it affects us all, Jake. 1 in 5. How can you ignore something so important? How can I protect your friend? 1 in 5, 1 in 5.
Come on, guys. Rolling? Good. When hiking in bear country like this, it's important to remember your essentials, like bear spray and knowing how to use it. Liam, where's my bear spray?
I put it in the bottom of your pack.
I didn't mean... How am I supposed to get it quickly?
When adventuring in bear country, remember, bring bear spray and know how to use it. Hike in groups, make noise, and don't run. Be bear aware.
A great day for me includes a walk outside with my wife.
My great day includes reading a good book.
A great day for me includes the morning crossword puzzle.
My great day includes playing the piano.
As you grow older, Missoula Aging Services can help direct your aging journey with a new Options for Better Aging program. Give them a call at 728-7682 to find out more.
Sergeant Greg Amos with the Missoula Police Department. I'd like to talk a little bit about something I see downtown routinely, and that is pedestrians crossing against the pedestrian heads. So I'd just like to explain what is actually legal. You cannot begin crossing in the crosswalk when it's either flashing and in the countdown or solid red. The only time it's legal to begin crossing in that crosswalk is when the white crossing sign is displayed. What the countdown is for, and the only thing that's there for, is to tell you how much time you have to finish crossing the street, presuming that you started when it was legal to do so.
Your smartphone can help you find a bar, alert your friends that you're in the bar, update you on your team while you're at the bar, and now, let you know you need a ride home from the bar. That is smart. Download blood alcohol calculators for your phone at plantolive.mt.gov.
Hey, we're back here with a whole bunch of guests here, and they're talking about a performance that's happening this Saturday at the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center. Am I right?
That's correct.
All right.
So we've got Mama D here, we've got Sarah Lee, and we also have Alicia. They are here from, so wait, I'm gonna let you guys tell us where you're from. So go ahead. Who are you guys? Where are you from?
So my name is Sarah Lee, and this is Mama D. We live in Seattle most of the year, but about 3-4 months every year we live in Guinea, West Africa.
Cool. And so Mama D, you're kind of telling us earlier that you are a master flute player.
Yes.
And that you have several generations of family that are master flute players.
Yes.
Cool. And so what brings you to the United States?
So, I'm bringing Guinean culture here, and I'm bringing American culture to Guinea.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cool.
Nice.
And so what can you tell us about your performance this Saturday?
This Saturday, so I'm inviting people to come a lot and see us, so how we do in our life. Yeah.
Cool.
And you guys are also doing this for a cause. So can you tell us a little bit more about your guys' cause of what you're trying to raise money for?
So sure, we do run a nonprofit organization called Guinea Exchange, and inside of our larger picture of sharing culture in both directions and building bridges in both directions from the West to Guinea, West Africa, we also fund school programs. We have an academic program, we have a vocational program, we also have an employment and lending program. So it's a way for sort of the scales to be balanced a little bit in these both directions. Guinea is a small country on the west coast of Africa. It's about the same size as the state of Oregon. It has 10 million people. Its capital is Conakry, and it ranks between the 4th and 10th poorest country in the world financially and infrastructurally. But it's rich with all this culture, music, dance, drumming, and they have these amazing artists who tell stories with their art. And so we bring some of that here. We teach at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Cool.
And we do little tours like this. Come to Missoula, we'll be in Bozeman. We just came from Walla Walla, so we're sort of all over the Pacific Northwest and West Coast, sharing the culture of Guinea and also giving back to the culture of Guinea.
And it's true. Like a lot of countries and a lot of places, even Montana. Montana is like one of the highest poverty places in the United States, like 48 in terms of money. But it's not about money. It's all about wealth, and wealth isn't determined by how much money you make. And I can see that since you guys have such a rich culture, and what we're about to see with your performance would be a nice example of how much wealth. I know it's like I don't want to like measure a person's abilities and all that stuff to like wealth. It's like, whatever. It's not that. It's like culture. It's about having a rich and solid culture, and that's what it means to be a country.
Well said, Scott. I
Yes.
agree. And so, Alicia, can you tell us about the local stuff going on with this?
Sure. Well, I'm with Djebe Bara Community Dance and Drum here in Missoula. We just had a rockin' dance class last night out at the Barn Movement Studio with Sarah Lee and Mamadi. And on Saturday, the Taste of Guinea is at the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center from 6 to 8:30. There's also going to be a Taste of Guinea in Bozeman on Sunday evening. And so this is a very special visit for me because I did get to go to Guinea with Sarah Lee and Mamadi and experience that 3 weeks of just loveliness, where I got to dance, I got to drum, eat wonderful food, be in great company. So I would say anyone out there listening that has thought, gosh, I sure would like to go to Guinea, they should come to the Jeanette Rankin's Peace Center on Saturday night and check out what's happening. There's going to be a slideshow, music, we have food, and it's a $10 donation.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Cool. And so you're going to play for us a little bit. So before we go to that, is there anything else that you guys want to tell us?
If you have an interest in African culture, if you have an interest in visiting Africa, we would love to invite you to join us Saturday and then join us in Africa.
Awesome, yeah. And so do you guys have a website that people can check out?
We do. It's oneworlddance.com.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll step aside and we'll let you play.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
How long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
No matter what you're planning, if you plan to drink, plan to have a friend get you home. Get ride home ideas and tools at plantolive.mt.gov.
Hello, you guys. We are back. Okay, so I've got some events for you. Oh, there's my camera. Hello, everyone. After, it gets a little bit hectic sometimes. Okay, we're back. It's Friday. I've got some events for you guys. So first, we've got Bar Fitness over at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center that starts at 10:30. Bar is a non-impact workout that focuses on body alignment and core stability using controlled movements to give you a total body workout. That starts at 10:30. Also at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center is Intermediate and Advanced Pilates Reformer that also starts at 10:30. Starting at 11 at the Children's Museum of Missoula, there's hopscotch. At noon, there's a watercolor painting class that's over at the Missoula Public Library. Yarns is also at the Missoula Public Library. That starts at noon, and it's for all those knitters and crocheters to get together and they can, craft and gossip and eat your lunch. This sounds pretty fun. ULA is at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center. That starts at noon. And then Cares Park, there's a brew fest tonight. So it starts at 4 o'clock. It goes until 10. It's $10, which includes 2 drink tokens. And there's also going to be live music. It's put on by the Missoula Athletic Council. They're supporting youth athletics, which they have been supporting youth athletics for over 45 years. Spider feeding is at the Missoula Butterfly House and Insectarium at 4 o'clock. And then at the, there's an open house at On Center Performing Arts, also at 4 o'clock. That's located at 1521 at Cooper Street. And then this weekend is all about Steve Gluckert over at the Missoula Art Museum. He's having a crazy art show all about him. So starting at 5 o'clock tonight over at the Missoula Art Museum, it's going to be a survey of his artwork from the 1970s all the way into present. So it's, a mix of artist traditions as well as modernisms. Included are early films, handmade games, drawings, conceptual pieces, drawing machines, collages, interactive sculptures, and inventive assemblages. Sounds pretty sweet. ULA is once again at the Dickinson Lifelong Learning Center starting at 5:30. And then at the Zootown Arts Community Center, they have a second annual Missoula Monster Project. And so what it is that they had kindergarten classes from 3 Missoula County Public Schools. They created original monster pieces that were then illustrated by adult artists. So for 3:30, 8:30, you can check out the workshop, the art of 400 different artists from little kindergartners. Or else you can check it out from 11 to 6.
I like how you're crying.
I know, I'm just so happy. I'm so excited. I'm not crying. I just think it's really cute.
When you mentioned
What, Scott?
when you mentioned kindergartners, you started crying. I was like, oh, kindergartners!
I was so excited. Yeah. Well, there was a bug flying around, and that distracted me, and then I got excited about the kindergartners. I don't know. I just think it's cute.
Yeah, when things are cute, your heart melts, and then
it does.
It grows like 3 times bigger every single time, and you have to get surgery for that.
It's true. That's what I do on my off days when we don't have the show. I get surgery because my heart's so big.
It's the heart tube in the back. It's like, plug it in and you just drain it.
Gross. I have a bucket behind me all the time.
Yeah. And that's how those candy hearts get made. Mine are the chalk flavored ones.
Chalk, yeah, they are.
Chalk hearts is made from Scott's heart.
But mine's like chocolate and sweet.
Yours is like the
sprinkles,
the Smarties,
Yeah, the Smarties, the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones. The 2 different kind of hearts. Let's go with the good ones.
Nice.
They're about 5 cents a piece extra, but they're worth it.
Yeah, they're worth it. No big deal. Yeah. All right. We're back now. Oh gosh, my camera placement is different than it usually is, so it's throwing me off.
Okay. If you ever get a full page to show, I'll change the cameers for you, like a number.
Okay. I probably won't do that, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, you guys. We're switching gears. We're going back to these gears, but I'm going to show you the guys the page so that my camera angle gets switched. So look at this silk screening night. That's going to be at the Zootown Arts Community Center. That starts at 5:30. You can come in with a blank colored tote bag or a shirt or a scarf, and you can leave with one of their house designs. Okay. And then over at the Missoula Urban Demonstration Project, they've got a mud garden party. Starts at 6 o'clock. And so what it is, it's their annual garden party. So they just celebrate Missoula urban development. So what it is that they're going to have a local, how local can you get pie competition, as well as raffle prizes, catered dinner from Masala, live music, and local beer. Yeah, pretty sweet. Now we have music for our evening. There's lots of music going on this weekend. So at the Union Club at 6 is an Irish music session. Andre Floyd will be at Tenspood Vineyard Winery, also at 6 o'clock. Low Carbon Crossings, a climate change event and discussion that will be held at a Imagination Brewing Company at 6. So this couple has been riding on their bike across the United States. And so it's a PowerPoint and a Q&A to raise awareness about climate change and discuss political solutions to the problem. Okay, and then we have Plus One Fest going on this weekend. This is put on by KBGA, I do believe, and a couple other people. And so it is at the Badlander and at the Palace. It's $40 for 3 days, or it's $25 per night. So the Badlander starts at that starts at 6. So just go there, all night long. Also at 6:30 over at Headwaters Dance Company is the Himalayan Singing Bowl Immersion. At 6:30 at Free Cycles is Local Yokels and Holy Smokes and the Godforsaken Roller. The Missoula Public Library has a worldwide cinema starting at 7. Stephen Glukert has got his special party. Now it's an all-day art affair of him, and then now he's got a special party at 8 p.m. So this will be Inside Montana Art and Framing. It'll be his recent works, a series of 40 small interactive works taking on the big Montana landscape. And so then after, so that'll be at 8. Yeah. Okay, at the VFW, they've got a bunch of music. Father Deer, Tiny Plastic Stars, New Old Future, Snoozy Moon, Skinny the Kid. That'll be at 9. Zeppo Montana will be playing the Union Club at 9:30. Dusk will be playing the Sunrise Saloon at 9:30. The Real Lounge has got some bands. They've got Sam Waldorf, Squirrels on Mars, Bidshade and Max Williams. And then Rabbit Wild will be playing the Top Hat Lounge at 10, and that's only for $5. So that's what's going on your Friday. I'm sorry that was a little jumbled and confusing, but we're switching gears now over to musical notes with Asaph Adonai.
Well, before we start, I wanted to say on yesterday's Asaph Cafe, we did a tribute to the victims and the families of 9/11. It's coming up Sunday, unfortunately.
Nice.
And we also did a tribute to Senator John Tester and the loss of his nephew, so that's very sad.
It's really sad.
Acknowledge that. That being said, our guest on today's musical notes once hosted a game show. And before they went to commercial, he would always say, "We'll be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds." And that went on to become a classic, iconic line we'll be back in 2 and 2. So he would always do the symbol, we back in 2 and 2. So our guest is Charles Herbert Woolery, known to the world as Chuck Woolery. And there he is. And also, he had another game called The Love Connection, which we'll talk about in a moment. But this picture here, this is a young Chuck Woolery. He is the original host of Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, we've got, let me say a few things about Chuck Woolery, and I'll show you that little video clip there. Chuck Woolery is an American game show host. He's probably the most iconic game show host, second to Bob Barker. Also, he's a talk show host and a former musician. He's had a string of game shows throughout his career. As I mentioned, he hosted Wheel of Fortune from 1975 to 1981. He hosted The Love Connection from 83 to 94. And he also hosted a game called Scrabble from 1984 to 1990. And if we've got this clip, here he is on The Love Connection. Let's watch him in action.
Oh, he's too handsome. Oof.
Now, I don't know if they can hear it, but to narrate this is similar to the dating game, but the only difference, instead of the contestant picking a date, the audience would pick the date. They would have a little poll, see, you know, after seeing these clips like that. And everybody in the audience would say either number 1, number 2, or number 3. And that's how they did this game here. And while this clip is running, as a young man after graduation, Chuck Woolery spent 2 years in the Navy. Here he is on his Love Connection here. And this young lady here with the blonde hair, she's going to get set up for her dates.
Uh-oh.
But this was such a fun show in its time, and at least you're at the mercy of your audience when they pick your date for you. But anyway, another interesting fact about Chuck Woolery, he's also a former musician. And in the 60s, he sang and played bass fiddle for a group called the Bordermen. And also, he was also in a group called Avant-Garde during the psychedelic era. And they had a hit called Naturally Stoned.
Chuck Woolery loves marijuana.
Well, I don't know. I think it was different. But this was back in 1968, and they were a one-hit wonder. But he tried his hand in the early 70s for Columbia Records, singing some songs, like a song called Forgive My Heart. But he hit his stride when he became the game show host, and there he is again. And he's also hosted some games called The Big Spin in 1985, and he did his version of The Price is Right live at the Harrah Casino in Las Vegas, and that was interesting. And the top winner would get something like $250,000 because this is Las Vegas, though. So, but my final words about Chuck Woolery: he'll always be linked to the Love Connection. There he is. That's a funny picture.
I know.
He's also a libertarian conservative, and these days he writes political editorials, which appears in the Washington Times. But like most of the stories I tell, our guest is always connected with one thing, and in the case of Chuck Woolery, he'll always be associated with the Love Connection, and I will stop on that note.
Well, thanks,
nice.
Asaph.
Thanks, Asaph. That was really funny. That video was really funny. That girl's hair, that was like.
Well, I just love her face when she's looking at all the like eligible bachelors. She's just like,
yeah, but as I mentioned, she doesn't pick the bachelor. The audience picks the bachelor.
And it's like they look at her and it's just like, oh, she.
Also, Sterling is a little creepy.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know,
but
girl.
That's the way it was at that time, so.
They were creepy back then, and bad hair.
Yeah. And like terrible sweaters with popping the collars and everything.
Nice. Thank you very much, Asaph. That was very enjoyable and very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now we have an art clip.
Yes.
It looks like it's the art experience.
Yes,
Tell
it's the art experience. You were talking about it. It's Steve Gluckricker's doing his thing today at 5, and then he's having his after party at 8 p.m. because he's old, and after parties have to be before
midnight. That's fine.
He's
whatever.
old.
It's all about him, though.
Yeah, it's all about him. And when we come back, after about a minute or so, we'll have more events with Noelle.
The wind so warm, the river so true, the cricket's cry is ever so crude. Tired eyes and a face so smooth, the sun has set on all that I knew. The river is deep, the river is wide, time to sleep and not to cry. Lay yourself down, lay your head down. Well, this came back from the Yellowstone.
Okay.
A lot of these are packed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
This is actually the machine for the cover of the catalog.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Hello, we're back.
Sorry about that. That just like abruptly stops.
And we didn't know that. So we're back now. It's a Friday. That's how I feel about our show. It's a Friday. Yes. But okay, so Saturday, over at the UM Adams Center parking lot in the northwest corner, the Audubon is going to head to 9 Pike for migrating shorebirds. So meet them at 7:45. They're going to leave at 7:50, and it's going to bring lunch because it's going to be an all-day trip. There's a plaid llama sale. It starts at 8 p.m., but it's not a plaid llama sale. What it is the largest yarn, fabric, and fiber sale, spinning and weaving demonstrations, sponsored by Missoula Weavers Guild. This is located, I think it's on University Avenue. I think it's like 157 University or something like that. We've got our farmers markets. Those are still happening. Missoula Farmers Market at the Red X's at 8. We have our Pine Street Market, which is the People's Market on Pine Street outside of Jimmy John's and Mar-a-Bar. That starts at 9. And then we have our Clark Fork Market down at Caris Park that also starts at 8. In Ovando, Montana, we've got our Ovando Gran Fondo. This is put on by the Missoula Symphony to benefit them for their upcoming shows and lots of more things they can do for Missoula. And so you guys can go to MissoulaSymphony.org/ride if you want to sign up for that. But we did hear about this a couple weeks ago. Over in Lolo at the shopping mall in their parking lot, they've got a multi-family church yard sale. Starts at 8 a.m. So it's books, music, household appliances, and articles, clothes, linens, tools, toys, Christmas, and fall decorations. And then over at Albertsons, I don't know which Albertsons it is. It just says at Albertsons, where they're doing a We Heart First Responders. It starts at 9 a.m. And what it is they're taping, you can have a sticky note and you can write thank you and then tape it to the first responders' vehicles. So wherever you see an Albertsons that has a lot of first responders outside of it, that's it. It's going to be all day. Starts at 8. Starts at 9. And then we've got our Dirty Dash that starts at 9 a.m. That's at the Flying H Stables. It's a military boot camp meets our inner 5-year-old's fantasy. So it's a mud run obstacle course. So just go to thedirtydash.com if you want to get involved with that. At the Home Depot parking lot, they've got a shred event starting at 11. You can bring all of your documents that you don't want people to look at and just shred the heck out of them. Woo! All right. And then over at the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas, they've got a garden tour and meditation. They've got a garden tour at 1 o'clock and then a guided meditation at 2 o'clock. Then there's an herbal walk with Justine's Sweet and Meadow Sweet Herbs at 2 o'clock. So they're going to walk along the Clark Fork River Trail and discover native herbs that grow along the river, and then you'll learn how to make a tincture too. You have to RSVP by going to 728-0543. Plus One Fest is happening again, and this will be at the Palace as well as the Badlander. You can go to Plus One Fest, just type it in Google if you want to see the full lineup. They've got bands like Magic Sword, Fly Moon Royalty, The West, Wrinkles, Furniture Girls, Tiny Plastic Tiny Plastic Stars. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then at the Wilma, this is the concert that I'm going to tomorrow night, and I'm super excited. It's Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, as well as Trombone Shorty and New Orleans Avenue. It's going to be a bunch of soul and funk music, and I'm really, really excited. Tickets are like $50, but they're not sold out, and it's worth it. Stage 112, they've got One-Eyed Doll and Universal Choke Sign. It's $15 before the show, $20 a day of. We have Absolutely with Chris Moon at the Badlander at 9, Tom Catmull at the Union Club at 9:30, Jeff Crosby and the Refugees at Top Hat Lounge at 9:30, Troublesome at the Sunrise Saloon at 9:30, and then Monks has got a back-to-school party number 2 at 10 o'clock. that's what's going on in your community. There's a lot more happening this weekend than I talked about, so just go to MissoulaEvents.net. You can see everything I talked about plus a ton of other things. You can also go to the Independent, the Missoulian, and the University of Montana website for more activities. Yeah, but we will be right back after this.
As you can see, that was at the Historic Museum at Fort Missoula, and that'll be going on. It's an ongoing series at their museum, so you guys can check that out pretty much anytime. Just go to the Fort Missoula. It's pretty sweet. So now we're going to jump into City Council. And one of the big things about City Council is the gun ordinance. Whoa, wait, stop. I know. Every time there's a gun ordinance, people are just like, oh, here we go again. And exactly, it's here we go again about the gun ordinance. And of course, I can see that there are some people out there that are kind of, in a way, thinking that this might be unnecessary. But let me assure you guys, this is not a ban on gun sales and gun trading. It's just to initiate more background checks between private gun sales. So let's say I want to sell Noelle a gun.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey, Noelle, can I sell you a gun? It's like, this ordinance basically says that you have to get a background check on Noelle or me.
Oh.
And myself.
We both
so
have to
it's $50 for a background check through the National Register Service, some kind of National Register Service. So it's $50 each. So, and you have to get a background check on either person.
Okay.
Just, you know.
I think that sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they're trying to pass.
Mm-hmm. And of course, that's it in a nutshell. That's basically the whole, like, public safety and health is the meaning that they were talking about this. The background is this is to draft an ordinance that aims to close loopholes within the city of Missoula such that no sale or transfer of firearm shall take place within the city limits unless and until the person purchasing or otherwise receiving the firearm passes a national instant criminal background check. So basically this is to require a licensed gun dealer to be involved with private sales of guns. Actually, that necessarily, I thought it was at the beginning, but it's actually, you don't need a licensed gun sales person. You just need to have like proof of background check. This is a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, and of course here is Brian von Lossberg, who kind of like goes into detail about this.
Posted the most recent changes in the penalty phase. The option of jail for first offense has been removed at the request of Councilman Bentley. I'm supportive of that. It remains as an option on subsequent offenses, but that's been written into the penalties area. It preserves all of the other items that we've discussed before, including the exemption for people who hold a concealed carry permit. That was the focus of significant discussion after the public hearing last year, so that's in there. So
all right, so that's basically kind of explains it. And he talked a little bit more about concealed firearms because it takes a lot more of a process to be a concealed carry arms permit holder. And of course, this next quote is, there have been discussions between community members. Okay, so there's been, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving with another, of course, this is Moms Demand Action. It's a lot of the people who have been spearheading this, and Brian von Lossberg has basically been their council champion in terms of this. Of course, the last time they teamed up, it was the ordinance for the circus animals. import animal performances, I guess it kind of was. So Brian goes into the old Montana Code along with some district court decision that affects certain local government bodies. Concealed weapons are highly regulated, and this ordinance would not impede the right to carry arms, just adjust the flow of who gets the arms. So of course, we are going to jump into public comment, and of course, it's very two-sided. It's very just like, this gun ordinance, we don't need it because it's unnecessary, and then there's other people who are just like, this is necessary, so that we're going to go into these public comments, and then I'm going to rush right through them.
That's 3.5 minutes. The statistics that promoters of this law wish to improve should be improved by legitimate means. It really is just like they say, the problem isn't guns, it's people. Thank you. Thank you. Next.
All right, so hold on a second. Okay, so that was his basic public comment. Okay, sorry, that was kind of a rough first public comment, but this next one should be a little bit better, and this is Dennis Gordon, and he speaks on Brian von Lossberg.
Slow walking it through committee. Months ago, Chairman Wilkins announced that there would be one more public hearing on this ordinance. That hearing has come and gone, and now we are having a hearing today, and still Mr. von Lossberg states in Sentinel Missoulian that there's a prospect of yet another hearing on the ordinance in this committee in the future, even though he admits the ordinance could become a practical disaster, a law with which residents have no way to comply. I've been coming down here now. This has been going on since last October. I've been coming down here. There's a number of these people have from meeting to meeting, and nothing's ever resolved. I've never seen an issue like this. And now, from what I understand today, there's going to be a public hearing and maybe another meeting on it. Well, John, you said that we were going to have one more hearing 2 hearings ago, and then we're going to go to a vote on this. Well, I'm getting tired of coming down here.
All right, so that's some of the frustrations that people have because they have a meeting after meeting about this, because this isn't the first time they've actually talked about this. This next quote is from Bill Murray, and he thinks that this ordinance could kind of get out of hand.
I think this is overreaction by some folks here that imagine that there is a lot of things wrong with their citizens, that they feel they have to be protected from one another, and I feel that by initiating this type of ordinance, I think it's be intrusive, if not illegal.
All right, so that was his quote. There's a whole bunch of other quotes as well. I'm looking at the time, trying to keep it up. And this is a nice little story. Actually, not really a nice story. I'm building to a wrong quote. Okay, so this quote is from Cheryl Goodwin, whose child was a victim of gun violence from improper background checks of sales of guns. So this is what she had to say.
As a mother whose child was murdered on August 18th of 2013, the person is still walking our streets through a coroner's inquest. I have been to the mayor's office. I've been to the police station only to be shut out. The only question I had for them was, my son was murdered with a gun that we use on drugs on our street by a convicted felon. The person that shot my son admitted in this federal court document that he provided the gun for this person. And so if we're going to look at these felons not getting background checks, then can you explain to me why my son was murdered with a gun that this Justin Nelson handed to Charles Freely and murdered him?
All right, so that's kind of the other side of it as well. Okay, so this, I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to go to Heidi Kendall, and she's with Moms Demand Action, and this is what she had to say about the gun ordinance, how important it is.
Most rights, the right secured by the Second Amendment, is not unlimited. It is not a right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever in any manner whatsoever and for whatever purpose. And the decision by Scalia goes on to say, nothing in our opinion should be taken to cast doubt on long-standing prohibitions on the possession of firearms by felons and the mentally ill, or laws forbidding the carrying of firearms in sensitive places such as schools and government buildings, or laws imposing conditions and qualifications on the commercial sale of arms. And there's a footnote there in the decision that says our list does not purport to be exhaustive. So I think that's pretty clear, a clear statement by the late Justice Scalia in that decision that checking to see if someone is a felon or has another reason not to own a firearm is a legitimate purpose of the government. And that's exactly what this ordinance would do. There's no way you can know if someone is a criminal without doing a background check on them.
All right, so that's basically what she had to say about that. Let's go. I think this is the last public comment I'm going to use from the public, and this is Bert Caldwell, and he's an ex-Marine, and he talks about this gun ordinance a little more.
Rifles, shotguns, and handguns. I hold a concealed carry permit. I'm an enthusiastic, responsible gun owner and have been since I was a 10-year-old member of the NRA. I am not a member of the current extreme political organization. We keep hearing that the only thing to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That is not only simplistic, it's far from reality. And I refer you to the highly skilled and trained Secret Service agents surrounding President Ronald Reagan, James Brady, Robert Kennedy, and Jack Oswald, just to name a few, where it didn't matter. Additionally, an untrained good guy with a gun is likely to cause more damage in a situation and possibly even be shot by the police for holding a gun in a shooting. To be clear, I'm in favor of expanding and enforcing background checks for the purchase of guns in the city of Missoula. I don't believe this country will ever ban private ownership of guns, so I don't believe that this is a first step in that direction. However, we can work to ensure that a higher percentage of gun owners are responsible people. None of this infringes on the rights of legitimate gun owners. No answer to this country's gun violence will be perfect, but doing nothing is not an option as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so that's basically what we had to say. And I'll end on that note. I think
nice. I think that was a strong public comment to end on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And Bert Caldwell is also a council member at the Bonner Middletown Community Council.
Nice.
So he's definitely getting a little more involved with politics.
That's
for sure.
good. Yeah.
So
very well spoken.
of course, there's a couple other quotes. You guys can check that out if you go on to ci.missoula.mt.us. So look at this page. This is the listing of all the meetings that happen on. So if you click on the agenda links, you just basically go to your government and you go to agenda webcast minutes. It's a great resource for anybody just to watch the meetings. And I suggest you guys watch this, especially if you're a gun owner as well. I'm constantly looking at the time to make sure that we're still on. We're about a minute and a half left in the show, so I'm going to wrap up on there. I did have another section where it was like land use and planning, which they were talking about north side reinvigoration, because I have this little map. So this is what they're going to do with the north side. Just a nice little, basically reinvented. And this is from Reserve Street all the way to Scott Street. So that whole area where you see the where the cemetery is, the Missoula Cemetery is, all that stuff. So this is the big feature of what's happening with land use and planning. North side's changing. Taxes are going to go a little bit higher because there's going to be an urban renewal district. It'll be called a urban renewal district, which means higher taxes.
Yep, definitely.
But of course, it's all infrastructure. A lot of it has to be infrastructure, especially on that side of town.
It's needed. I live on the north side. It's needed, but I love the north side.
Yeah, so that basically affects you.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I kind of wanted to bring up. I probably should have brought that up first, and then I went to the gun ordinance. But of course, that's that. This is our. Ooh, God, I got to find our website. If you want to find more information, you can log on to wakeupmissoula.wix.com/wakeupmissoula, and then of course MCAT.org. Where you can watch the live stream of our very own football game that's happening tonight. Sorry guys, we're out of time. For Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramp.
And for Wake Up Missoula, my name is Noelle McAvoy. Here's Asaph and I, and we'll see you guys on Monday.